Hello, everybody. It is day 6 of this amazing happiness challenge, and I am so happy to be here with each of you. And so, yeah, it's been good. We've been doing this for almost a week, and the transitions that are starting to happen to people are pretty amazing. So, if you have not reached out to me, please reach out to me. Let me know how this is working, how it's impacting your life. Because I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm over here rooting for you and screaming at the top of my lungs. So, yeah, today we have a fun topic. Today we're going to be talking about our ego. Yes, we love to talk about the ego. So we're going to deal with the ego and how our ego can bring in envy, how it brings in desire, how it brings in the limiting beliefs, and then how this creates our ego. So imagine a circle, and in the middle is the internal. This is where you want to be. So, we've already gone through the first layer when we were talking about, our influence and then our programming. That was a few days ago. Then we got into our unconsciousness and the agreements that we have, and that came from what our limiting beliefs are. So now we're tapping into the ego and identifying the ego and figuring out what we're attached to and the roles that we play within our life. And so I want you to seriously think about this as you're going through today. Like, what roles did you take as a child? Like when you were growing up, for me, I was the caretaker and I had to take care of my mom, my sister. So, me naturally as an adult, I always feel like I have to take care of everyone else before I can take care of me. Because what happens as caretakers, that's what we do. We make sure everyone else is good and we neglect ourselves. And so when we live in that life and that's constant, where we're constantly taking care of other people and we are, sorry, I had something in my hair, and we're neglecting ourselves, then what ends up happening, we start to experience overwhelm, we start to experience frustration, we start to get angry, we become exhausted. Can I say that word again? We become exhausted. And so all of this comes from us adapting that caretaker role. And if you pay attention to it, whatever role you picked up is what you're doing in your life. If now as an adult, I'm constantly trying to make sure everything is taken care of, and that creates various fires that I'm putting myself into that I don't need to be into. Like those fires are not my fires to put out. They belong to other people and they need to stand up and put out their fires, but I'm there as their support person. I don't have to be the captain of the fire. I can just be back there holding the hose or bringing the ladder or whatever it is. But I have to be that support person standing in the background while allowing them to take care of the situation. And that's been hard. That's been a very hard adjustment. If you have heard any of my other classes, you heard me talk about the day that I had to realize I had to fire myself from being a parent to my children. They're grown. That I had to realize that I'm going to be their mother and I'm always going to be their mother. But in a mother role, I'm standing there supporting their decisions. And that doesn't, now, if they ask my advice, I give it to them. But if they don't ask it, I'm not over there meddling, trying to figure out how to make it work for them. That's not my job anymore. They have to learn their own lessons. And that was hard. I'm no longer parenting you. You're 25. That's not my position anymore, is to parent you. But what my position is to be a nurturer, is to love you, is to support you. So now I had to step into that role. And even with my grandchildren, like I said, I graduated from being a parent to a grandparent. So for as a grandparent, what do you remember your life as being a grandparent? Like, what do you remember your grandparents be? The loving ones, the nurturing ones, the ones that it was always exciting to go see grandma. Because I always joke now, because I sit back and say, my God, we had to be the grandparent, because we look back and we realize how we messed up our children. And we're like, oh Lord, please help us. Please help these babies. Let us let us let us give them all the love that they need, because we hope their parents get it together. That's why I think we love our grandchildren so much. But that's just me being funny. However, so the purpose of today's lesson is for you to identify the roles that you're adopting, and letting go to things that no longer serve you. Like letting go of the things that you need to release. Letting go of the things that no longer benefit you. There has to be a point where you start switching the role of the caretaker to take care of you, and now's that time. Because once you start taking care of you, you begin to realize that other people naturally start taking care of themselves, and everyone prefers it that way. And that's the harsh reality, because they need to figure it out for themselves, especially if they're adults. Now, understand, I'm saying this for people that are healthy and don't need a caretaker. Now, if you're acting as a caretaker for someone else, you still have to find time to take care of yourself. You have to. Because if you're emptying out everything that you have, then there's a part of you that becomes resentful. And then when you become resentful, guess what happens? When you become resentful, you're blocking your blessings, you're blocking your abundance, you're blocking your happiness. And those individuals can feel that. And you don't want them to feel like they're a burden to you. So reassess that situation. Look to see how you can refill you. Okay. And what roles do you serve that you would like to continue? That's the beauty of this, is what roles do I want to continue? I realize that I have always been everyone's biggest cheerleader, because I want to see everyone win, because I know we all face struggles and we all face storms that some of us would never even know that another person is dealing with, because we have been taught to keep it silent. And so when you've been taught to keep it silent, you're fighting internal battles that I would never know about unless if you chose to tell me. But I like the role of being the biggest cheerleader. I like the role of being your supporter. That's the role that I now like. And it makes me happy, because I realize how impactful that cheerleader can be in our lives, and how it can really just motivate us and uplift us. And so that is the role that I choose to take. So as you're doing this, as you're looking at the roles, and understand there are a lot of roles you can take. The opposite of a caretaker is someone awaiting to be taken care of, because that's been their whole life, as someone has always jumped in and taken care of them and has always fixed the situation. But in order for you to grow, you have to really jump in and start taking care of yourself and making those decisions for yourself, and stop allowing others to dictate and control your life, because that's not what you truly want. So anyway, tomorrow we will be working on day 7. Yay. when we can. We will be working on what it looks like to have reflections on who you are as a person. So I'm so excited to talk about that tomorrow because that's big. Because 99%, well, no, that's not being honest. 100% of my clients sit in front of me and they's like, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I like, what I don't like, who I am, what I do, because I have played so many roles in my life. I have played the child role, I played the caretaker role, I played the mother role, I played grandmother, sister, friend, wife, girlfriend, aunt, uncle, grandparent, chauffeur, cook, laundry person, shopper, employee, employer. I've played several roles, but right now I'm playing the biggest role of my life, which is me. And it's been pretty amazing. And you get to choose the things that you like to do. Like, for example, for the past 3 years, after all that I went through, and I ended up having to walk away from my businesses and walking away from my life, I started realizing, like, when I came back, I wanted everything to be different. I didn't want it to resemble anything that I've ever experienced in life before. And so part of that was me walking away from my experience and not picking out the good things. Like, it hurt me so bad to lose my businesses and have to walk away from them that I stopped loving business. I stopped forgetting that I have a degree in business, that I have my MBA, that I have all these beautiful skills and knowledge. And I looked upon it like, I don't want that anymore. That didn't serve me before. But it wasn't the knowledge that didn't serve me, it was my emotions and my choices that didn't serve me. So it's like recently I was like, but I loved business. I loved starting businesses. I love consulting. I love teaching people how to start businesses and changing their life. And there's certain things that I loved about accounting. Like, I loved budgeting and doing spreadsheets and making sure that everything balanced. And I love that. But I stopped doing it because it reminded me of something bad and traumatic in my life. And so now I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why can't I just choose the things that I like about it and do it? And that's one of the things that occurred to me this week that I have been doing. Like, one of the things of me standing up here teaching every day was me showing myself consistency, but two, doing something that I truly, truly love, which is teaching, which has allowed me to do this. So, anyway, pick the things that you like the most out of your life and experience and detach, divorce, whatever terminology you want to do, cut. Remove the emotions and the pain that was associated to something that you love, and love and honor the experience, not the emotions. So, I look forward to tomorrow, sending you all lots of love. Bye.